My family expected me to pay 190,000 Brazilian reals for their renovation, but they didn't invite my daughter to Christmas. I took back everything that was mine. We're renovating, you're paying half. My sister sent a message with a 380,000 Brazilian reals contractor quote for her house. Mom says it's your turn to contribute. I replied no. She sent a voice message. Then don't expect an invitation to Christmas. I didn't respond. On December 24th, she posted photos. Family first. I commented, how lovely. P.S. The apartment you're using as storage is mine. I'm coming to get the keys tomorrow. 10 minutes later, my daughter whispered, Mom, why am I not in the family? She was sitting on the worn sofa in the hospital waiting room. Her feet didn't touch the floor. Wearing the pink lab coat I had given her as a gift, 2 sizes too big. A cartoon was playing on the small TV in the corner. A coffee machine dripped noisily in the background. The nurses chatted quietly at the station, filling out charts. I should have been reviewing exams. Instead, I had opened Instagram. There it was. My sister's post. My parents' living room. Tree shining. Matching pajamas. Everyone's squeezed together, smiling. Caption, family first. Can't imagine Christmas without my people. Every grandchild. Every adult. My mother in the middle, holding my sister's youngest. And a very clear, very empty space where my daughter wasn't. I felt Sophia lean against my side to see the screen better. She's 8 years old. Quiet. Serious. The kind of child who always asks permission before touching anything. She counted the faces quietly. I heard when she stopped. Oh, she said. Just that syllable. So small it almost didn't exist. My throat tightened. My hands were already shaking from the text conversation that brought us here. Now this. I scrolled. Second photo. My parents holding a sign that said, renovation starts January 8th. New chapter for this house. Third photo. My sister and her husband on the front steps with the kids. Same building. Same 2-bedroom apartment. The one that's in my name. Some part of my brain went into doctor mode. That strange calm that appears in bad emergencies. You see the trauma, but bypass the blood and do what needs to be done. I clicked comment. How lovely. P.S. The apartment you're using as storage is mine. I'm coming to get the keys tomorrow. My finger hovered for half a second. Then I tapped publish. Sophia watched my face. Am I not part of the family anymore? She asked. That was the fire. Not the car accident I attended with victims trapped in the wreckage. Not the heart attack in the ER at 3 in the morning. This. A child in a borrowed lab coat, asking if she matters. I swallowed hard. You are my family, I said. That's more important than any photo. She nodded, but her eyes stayed on that screen a second longer. My phone vibrated immediately. I locked the screen and placed it face down on the table. Hey, sweetie, I said. Want to help me check the supply room inventory? We'll make our own Christmas tonight. She gave me a small smile. Can I use the stethoscope? You can, I said. You can use the stethoscope. We walked to the supply room. My heart was beating like we were already in a code blue. I'm Carolina, 37 years old, pediatrician in Sao Paulo. Divorced. 1 daughter, Sophia. I work 12-hour shifts at the municipal hospital, 3 times a week. When I'm not attending emergencies or doing rounds in the pediatric ICU, I'm usually trying to make it to all the school presentations and swim practices I can fit between shifts. My parents live 40 minutes away in the same apartment in Pinheiros where I grew up. My younger sister, Renata, lives 10 minutes from them with her husband, Bruno, and their 3 children. If you asked my family to describe me, they'd probably say, Carol is the responsible one. The doctor. The person you call when your car breaks down or when someone gets sick in the middle of the night. They leave out the part where they also call me when the heater breaks and they can't afford a new one. The condo fee is 2 months late. The car needs new tires and you make good money, right? Just this once. For years, I said yes. I took extra weekend shifts and handed money to my parents in envelopes. Put renovations on my credit card. Co-sign loans. Told myself it was what you do. They took care of Sophia on nights when I had shifts and my ex-husband was traveling for work. They helped in their way. It seemed fair in some twisted equation I never wrote down. It started small. Can you lend us 1,000 Brazilian reals until Friday? Here. We're tight for Christmas presents this year. Can you help? There. Then the numbers got bigger. A 20,000 Brazilian reals loan to renovate my parents' bathroom that became a gift. Covering property tax after my father retired early. Co-signing for Renata's apartment when her credit wasn't approved. I signed because she had 3 small children. Because she cried at the bank. Because my mother kept saying, "You're alone, Carol. You don't have big expenses. Help your sister." Sophia was 5 years old at the time. The bank manager never asked where she fit into all this. The money was one thing. The way they treated my daughter was another. They never said outright that she was less. That would have been easier to fight. It was little things. Birthday parties where they forgot to buy the juice Sophia liked, but had everyone else's favorite drinks in labeled bottles. Cousin outing photos where Sophia was always pushed to the edge or mysteriously in the bathroom when the camera clicked. Grandparent gifts where Renata's kids got bicycles and tablets, and Sophia got a board game for all the grandchildren to share that somehow never left their house. I told myself I was imagining things. Trauma from too many shifts. Overprotective divorced mom. Pick your label. Then came Beto Carrero. 2 years ago, my parents called it a grandkid's surprise. Had matching t-shirts made. Sophia was excited for weeks. We arrived at the parking lot, and my father distributed annual passes in little plastic envelopes. 1, 2, 3 passes for Renata's kids. Nothing for Sophia. When I asked, my mother laughed. Annual passes are expensive, Carol. She doesn't live near us. Wouldn't use it enough to justify the cost. You can buy a day pass when you come. It's the same thing. Sophia heard every word. She still wore the t-shirt. She still smiled. But on the way home she asked, "Why don't they want me to come as much?" I should have drawn the line right then. Instead, I took 2 extra shifts and bought her an annual pass on our next weekend together. We went just the 2 of us. Told myself that was the answer. Do more. Be more. Fill in the gaps. Didn't realize I was teaching them something too. If they hurt my daughter, I'd pay to fix it. The renovation drama started in September. I was leaving a 14-hour shift. An emergency appendectomy. A febrile seizure. An adolescent suicide attempt. When my phone buzzed in the parking lot. It was a screenshot of a contractor quote. 380,000 Brazilian reals for a complete renovation of Renata's outdated kitchen and adding a multi-generational suite at my parents' house. New flooring. New cabinets. New bathroom. Everything. Underneath, Renata had typed, "Good news. Contractor says we can start in January if we pay half up front. We'll do 95,000 Brazilian reals. Mom and Dad will scrape together another 95,000 Brazilian reals somehow. Mom says it's your turn to contribute. You make more. So you'll cover the other 190,000 Brazilian reals. Family house equals family responsibility." I sat in the parking lot, lab coat over my arm, reading 3 times. 190,000 Brazilian reals. That's almost all of Sophia's college tuition at a private university. That's a brand new car. That's every extra shift, every private practice weekend I'd done in recent years. I wrote back 1 word. No. 2 minutes later, a voice message arrived. Renata's voice. Too sweet, artificial. Okay. Well, if you're going to be selfish like that, it's your choice. But don't expect an invitation to Christmas then. Mom is very hurt. She said you never contributed the way she expected. Bruno and I are doing everything, Carol. We have 3 kids. If you don't want to be part of the family home, maybe you shouldn't be around for family parties either. I listened twice. Didn't respond. Blocked notifications from the family group and went in to shower and get the hospital smell off. Told myself they were angry in the moment, that it would pass long before December. I was wrong. They kept the threat. No invitation for Thanksgiving. Mom sent just 1 message. You can come by after lunch if you want to see your grandparents. After. Not bring Sophia. Now we'd love to have you both. Just a time slot like a dentist appointment. I took Sophia to my friend Julia's house. She's one of the pediatricians from my shift. Her husband cooked on purpose too much. The kids treated Sophia like a cousin. We came home full and tired and a little less empty. December arrived. A week before Christmas, Mom finally texted. We're having everyone on Christmas Eve at 4. Given the tension, maybe it's better if you and Sophia stay home this year and we'll sort things out in January. Don't want drama in front of the little ones. I stared at the line about the little ones until the words blurred. Sophia is one of the little ones. I typed and deleted a dozen responses. How about no? Sophia is a child, not a consequence. You're choosing a kitchen over your granddaughter. In the end, I didn't send anything. Took a screenshot and filed it mentally under evidence. Whenever I feel like I'm overreacting, I go back to the actual words. On Christmas Eve, I took the shift. 12 hours. Sophia's mother offered to stay with her, but she begged to come with me. We're allowed as long as there are no active emergencies. The head of pediatrics has a soft spot for kids at Christmas. So she sat on the break room floor assembling a toy doctor's kit while I filled out reports. The nurses gave her a visitor badge and let her use a real stethoscope. She was so proud. Told myself it was okay. Better than okay. We were together. That's what mattered. Then I opened Instagram. The family first photos hit like opening an autoclave with your face too close. The sudden wave. The burn. Behind me, Sophia's toys clicked softly. She leaned against my side. Looked from the photos to me and back, trying to do the emotional math that an adult couldn't solve. Did we make them mad? She asked, after a long silence. I repeated. Yeah. Because we didn't go to the house. So they had Christmas without us. I had nothing. No organized answer. No smooth lie. They made their choice, I finally said. Now I'm going to make mine. That's when I posted about the apartment. That's when the shaking in my hands stopped and something firmer took its place. The thing is about that apartment. It's not Renata's. Not legally. 4 years ago, the apartment where she was renting was put up for sale. She called me crying. Bruno was unemployed and the owner wants to sell and we're going to have to move and the kids have school here. Carol, please. I went with her to look at properties, just to look. We came out with a deed in my name, with her listed as authorized resident. She was going to transfer it to her name when her credit improved. I made the down payment, 60,000 Brazilian reals from my savings. She was going to send me the monthly amount and I'd pay the bank. Sometimes she sent it. Sometimes it was tight this month, but we'll make it up after tax refund. I covered the differences. Because being late would hurt my credit, not hers. So when I saw that apartment in the family first photos, being used as their extra storage, on a Christmas my daughter had been uninvited from, something clicked. I couldn't make them love my daughter. Couldn't force them to invite us. But I didn't have to finance their lives while they erased her from the photo. So I went to the reception computer, logged into the bank app, and opened the property financing. Paid that month's installment, then clicked the button to remove Renata's housing authorization from the account portal. Next, I opened my contacts and found the number of the locksmith we use when a patient locks their keys in their car in the hospital parking lot. The owner, Mr. Mario, has been my father's friend forever. He answered on the second ring. Mario's locksmith. Hi, Mr. Mario, it's Carol, Antonio's daughter. Hi, dear. Merry Christmas Eve. You all doing well? We are. Look, I need a personal favor. I gave the address, said I needed to change the lock on an apartment that was mine. He was silent for a moment. Is that the one your sister lives in? He asked cautiously. She lives there as a favor, I corrected. The property is in my name. Financing in my name. She was an authorized resident, and isn't anymore. I need to change the lock and get some documents I left there. He whistled softly. Family, huh? Yeah, I said. Are you sure you want to do this today of all days? I looked at Sophia, kneeling on the floor, trying to put a band-aid on a stuffed bear. She glanced at my phone every now and then as if it were going to explode. I'm sure, I said. I'm certain. Okay, Mr. Mario said. I have an assistant who can go in an hour. Consider it done. I hung up. My phone buzzed again. This time not social media. Renata. What, Carol? Delete that comment, you're embarrassing Mom. Then another. Mom, this is cruel. It's Christmas Eve. What are you thinking? Stop. I didn't respond. Opened another app. For the last 6 years, I had my parents' health insurance set up on automatic debit from my account. It started after my father forgot to pay and almost lost coverage. Told myself it was simpler to manage it myself. Less stress for them. A few taps and my name as the responsible party disappeared from the plan. Next, the monthly 800 Brazilian reals transfer I'd been sending them to help with groceries. Cancelled. The family gym plan that had quietly grown from 3 people to 7. My parents. My sister. Her husband. 2 of her kids who were old enough to work out alone. I called the gym. After the endless menu, a woman answered. How can I help you today? I want to remove 4 people from my family plan, I said. Immediately. I'll pay any prorated cancellation fee on my card now. They can open their own plan after that. She confirmed names and tax IDs. Just to be sure, she said. Once I do this, they lose access today. I'm aware, I said. She hesitated. Okay. I just need a reason for our notes. The TV in the break room was showing some Panettone commercial with a happy family. Sophia was making soft siren sounds while playing. Budget change, I said. Tired of paying for people who don't consider my daughter family. We got an emergency right after I hung up. 3-month-old baby with high fever. Possible meningitis. I put on my lab coat. Sophia watched me from the door like I'd taught her. Feet behind the yellow line. Hands behind back. Come back soon, Mom, she said. Always, I replied. The world shrank again to heart monitors and shouted commands, and the weight of an 4 bag in my hands. When we finished, I checked my phone in the locker room. 31 missed messages. The first was from Renata. A photo of Mr. Mario and the assistant changing the lock. Have you lost your mind? You locked my house on Christmas Eve. The kids are crying. Mom is panicking. You ruined today. How do you expect us to get into the house? The second was from Mom. I don't recognize you anymore. This is mean. Your sister's kids didn't do anything to you. You're punishing them because you're mad at me. You always held grudges. Your father is furious. Then a voice message from my father. You better fix this before the bank gets involved, young lady. We raised you better than this. You're not going to cut off this family. You're having a breakdown. We'll talk when you calm down. And don't drag that girl into this. That girl. I closed my eyes. Sophia wasn't that girl. She was my girl. And they'd already dragged her into this the moment they excluded her from Christmas. I put away my phone. The nurses at the station didn't ask. Hospital rule. You don't push unless someone starts talking. I didn't start. The backlash came full force the next morning. Christmas Day, 8:30 a.m. I walked into the house with Sophia half asleep in my arms and a grocery bag full of leftovers from the shift that the staff insisted we take. We made our own version of Christmas at the hospital. The nurses brought small wrapped gifts. The head of pediatrics let Sophia use her stethoscope, the expensive one, with initials engraved. We watched Frozen on an old tablet. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. I put Sophia in her bed in my apartment, turned on the starlight she loves, and went to the kitchen. My phone rang. Renata. I let it go to voicemail. Then Mom. Then Dad. Then Mom again. Finally, my Aunt Vera called. She's my mother's younger sister. The only one who said no to my father without blinking. I answered. Hi, I said. There was a pause. Then, just wanted to hear your voice before I go over there and give your parents a piece of my mind. I let out my breath. A hybrid laugh cry that I didn't know I had in me. So you saw? Oh, I saw, she said. Also saw an 8-year-old child missing from every Christmas photo. Want to tell me why? I told her everything. The 380,000 Brazilian reals budget. The it's your turn to contribute. The uninvitation. The apartment. My comment. The lock change. The health insurance and gym plans. The monthly transfer. She listened without interrupting, which, for Vera, is a miracle. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. Okay, she said finally. 1, I'm proud of you. 2, they're going to claim you're crazy. Let them. 3, I'm making lasagna and bringing my kids over tomorrow. Sophia deserves a Christmas with family that acts like real family. I blinked hard. You don't have to. I know, she cut in. I want to. And Carol? Don't you dare apologize for any of this. They've been using you as an ATM with a heartbeat for years. It's over. We hung up. I stared at the blank TV screen for a while. My phone lit up again with a new message from Mom. Your ridiculous scene got your father's credit blocked. The bank called about the apartment financing. We don't deserve this. After everything we did for you. Your sister is stuck with 3 kids and no home now because of you. You took their Christmas away. Did being a doctor make you like this? Make you cold? You need to fix this now. I typed a response. Then deleted it. Typed again. This time, I kept it short. I'm not your backup bank. Sophia is not optional. Until you can treat her like family, you're off my accounts and out of my wallet. Merry Christmas. I hit send. Then blocked her number. Did the same with my father and Renata. The silence that followed felt loud. They didn't stay quiet in real life, though. 2 days later, there was a knock on my door, just as I was making pancakes. Sophia was at the table drawing a hospital with too many doctors. I wiped my hands and opened it. My parents and Renata were at the door, wrapped in winter coats, faces tense. My mother tried to enter. I blocked the entrance with my body. Hi, I said. You can stay at the door. Renata's eyes were red. Couldn't tell if it was from crying or anger. You humiliated me, she said, skipping the hi completely. In front of everyone. On Instagram. At Christmas. I looked at her calmly. You uninvited my daughter from Christmas, I said. On purpose. After expecting me to give 190,000 Brazilian reals. This has nothing to do with the apartment, she shot back. It has everything to do with the apartment, I said. And with the health insurance. And with the gym. And with the money. Everything I've been covering while you treat my daughter like a +1 you can leave off the guest list. My father crossed his arms. You made your mother cry, he said, as if that were the supreme sin. I felt my jaw tighten. She made my daughter cry, I said. You just didn't see it because you were too busy posing for family first photos without her. Mom's face contorted. We just needed a Christmas without drama, she said. You always bring tension, Carol. You're so sensitive. You'd rather punish us than let your sister have a better kitchen so we can host everyone properly. Is this really about Sophia? Or about your pride? Behind me, I heard Sophia's chair drag softly. She was listening. I made my voice firm. It's about my daughter, I said. And about the message you're sending her. What message? My father demanded. That actions have consequences? That when you refuse to help family, you can't enjoy the benefits. You think that girl will remember one Christmas? I stepped out the door and pulled it almost closed behind me so Sophia wouldn't hear the next part. She'll already remember the Christmas she was left out, I said. I'm not adding the memory of seeing her mother continue to pay thousands of reais to people who won't even include her in a photo. Mom shook her head. Eyes glistening. We're your parents, she said. You owe us. No, I said quietly. I don't. Not like this. Not at the cost of my daughter's sense of worth. Renata jumped into the conversation. So that's it, she choked. You're just going to leave us stranded? We have a house now, Carol. 1. How am I supposed to get in with 3 kids if you locked everything? I have a suggestion, I said. You call the bank, refinance the apartment in your own name, and come get the new keys from my house when it's no longer my financial responsibility. Until then, they stay with me. Her mouth opened. You can't do this, she said. That's cruel. What's cruel? I replied. Is expecting me to keep supporting you while you cut my daughter out of your lives whenever it's convenient. My father pointed his finger at me. You're going to regret this, he said. When we die, you're going to wish you'd been more generous. Money comes and goes. Family doesn't. I thought of Sophia counting faces on a screen. Of Beto Carrero tickets. Of every small slight I'd covered with extra shifts and expensive gifts. Family comes and goes too, I said. Every time you choose a renovation or appearances over a child. I took a deep breath. You're not welcome in my home now, I finished. When you're ready to apologize to Sophia. Not to me, to her, and when you're ready to treat her the way you treat Renata's kids, we'll talk. Until then, I'll send any important documents by mail. That's it. My mother started to say my name. I closed the door. My hands were shaking again. Sophia was standing in the hallway, holding her drawing. Are we in trouble? She asked. I crouched down to eye level with her. No, sweetie, I said. We're just making new rules. New rules look like this. No more automatic transfers to my parents. No more bailing out Renata. No more answering calls from people who only remembered my number when a bill was due. Instead, I took an extra shift, not to hand over to them, but to open a dedicated account in Sophia's name. College. Study abroad. First apartment. Whatever she chose later. I told her it was our future hospital fund. She thought it was hilarious. Aunt Vera showed up the next night with 2 trays of lasagna, a bag of mismatched ornaments, and her teenagers in tow. Both had stopped following my parents on social media because we don't like fakeness, as her daughter put it. We ate at my tiny dining table, chairs borrowed from neighbors. Sophia sat in the middle, telling my cousins about the expensive stethoscope she used. Nobody made jokes at her expense. Nobody forgot her name. At some point, Vera went quiet, fork hovering over her plate. You know, she said, your father has been like this since we were kids. Money, image, control. I was just too afraid to cut him off. You did what I couldn't. I don't feel brave, I admitted. I feel like I set fire to a house and walked away. She snorted. You're a doctor, Carol. Sometimes you have to tear down a burned wall so it doesn't collapse on people later. I let that settle. After they left, Sophia rummaged through the ornament bag. There was a small wooden one shaped like a house, blank in the middle. Can I draw on this? She asked. Sure, I said. She took a marker and carefully wrote, me and Mom's house. Family. Then drew 2 stick figures holding hands and a tiny hospital on the side. We hung it right in the center of our tree. I'd like to say my parents had a quick change of heart. They didn't. From what I heard through gossip, the renovation stalled. Without my 190,000 Brazilian reals, the contractor pushed back their start date. They had to choose cheaper cabinets. My father called my aunt to complain about ungrateful children and woke meme culture as if that explained everything. They removed me from Instagram before I could stop following them. That was fine. Some cousins quietly liked my Merry Christmas from Municipal Hospital post with Sophia in the borrowed lab coat. Some even messaged saying they were proud of me for finally cutting the cord. The apartment became a silent war. Renata couldn't just break in because I'd changed the locks. She couldn't sue me because the property was legally in my name. So she did what she always did, tried to pressure me through family. My grandmother, who's 84 and lives in a nursing home that I pay for, called me crying. Carol, your mother told me you took the roof from your sister. 3 grandchildren on the street. How could you? Grandma, I took a deep breath. The apartment is mine. Always was. Renata lived there as a favor and stopped paying me 2 years ago. She has a husband with a job. They can rent another place. But the children, Carol. The children. The children have 2 parents, Grandma. And I also have a daughter who was excluded from the family Christmas. Where was the concern for her? Silence on the other end. Then quieter, I didn't know about that. Well, nobody knew because nobody asked. I hung up before I started crying. The Catholic guilt my family always used as a weapon was working. I could feel the weight of it in my chest, that feeling that I was the villain of the story. But then I'd look at Sophia, drawing on the living room floor, and remember, I didn't exclude anyone from Christmas. They did that to her first. 3 weeks after Christmas, in mid-January, I received a notification from the post office. Registered letter. Sender, law office. My stomach sank. I opened it at the kitchen table while Sophia was at school. It was from Renata. Extrajudicial notification demanding that I return access to the apartment immediately or bear provisional relocation costs of 15,000 Brazilian reals. The lawyer cited abandonment of home, breach of verbal agreement, moral damages to the children. I had 10 days to respond. I called my friend Patricia, a lawyer I met in college. Sent a photo of the letter. She called me back in 20 minutes. Carol, this has no legal basis whatsoever, she said. The property is yours. You had every right to revoke housing permission. They were living there as a favor. Verbal payment agreement? Do you have proof she wasn't paying? I have screenshots of messages. Transfers I made to the bank when she didn't send the money. Perfect. Save everything. It's probably just psychological pressure, but if they actually file a lawsuit, you're covered. Want me to respond formally for you? I do. 2 days later, Patricia sent a technical and cold response dismantling each argument. Attached copies of the deed, the financing in my name, and screenshots of messages where Renata promised to pay and didn't. The last line said, "Any attempt at defamation or legal harassment will be met with a countersuit for moral damages. Sincerely." Renata didn't respond. But my mother did. She showed up at the hospital. At my workplace. In front of my colleagues. I was leaving the pediatric ICU, still in mask and gloves, when I saw her in the hallway, waiting near the nurse's station. The nurse's eyes widened. Everyone knew I'd cut contact with my family. Hospitals are small like that. "Mom," I said, stopping 3 meters away. "What are you doing here?" "We need to talk," she said. Voice trembling, eyes red. "Not here. Not at my work. You don't answer my calls." She raised her voice. People in the hallway looked. "I'm your mother, Carol. You can't just erase me." I took off my mask slowly. Felt the anger rising, hot and tight in my chest. "I didn't erase you, Mom. You erased my daughter. From all the photos. From Christmas. From your lives. I just stopped paying to be invisible." "You're being dramatic," she hissed. "Sophia is small. She won't even remember this." "She already remembers," I said. "She asked me if she's not family anymore. She's 8 years old and already knows you prefer Renata's kids." "That's not true." "Then why did she never get an equal gift? Why is she on the edge of photos? Why didn't she get a Beto Carrero pass when everyone else did?" My mother opened her mouth. Closed it. Tears ran down. We just have more history with the other grandchildren. They're always there. Sophia. You keep her away. I work, Mom. Shifts. Weekends. To pay the bills you don't pay. And every time I could bring her, you made excuses. Today's not a good day. The house is messy. Let's do another day. Lies. I have the messages, I said calmly. I can show them all. Every time you canceled. Every time you forgot her birthday. Every time you sent a collective gift when the others got individual ones. She sobbed. We stood in the hospital hallway, nurses pretending not to hear, and I felt something break inside me. It wasn't anger. It was exhaustion. I loved you too much to see it, Mom, I said more quietly. I thought if I paid more, helped more, you'd love my daughter the same way. But it doesn't work like that. Carol, please. You need to leave. I'm working. If you want to talk for real, make an appointment. But not here. And not without first apologizing to Sophia. Not to me. To her. I turned my back and returned to the ICU. My hands shook when I washed them at the sink. One of the nurses, Claudia, touched my shoulder. Are you okay? I will be, I said. But I wasn't. That night, after picking up Sophia from school and making dinner and helping with homework, I sat on the couch with a glass of wine I didn't drink. Just held it. Sophia appeared in pajamas, hair wet from the bath. Mom, are you sad? I'm tired, sweetie. She climbed on the couch and rested her head on my arm. Because of Grandma? Children notice everything. How do you know? I heard you talking on the phone the other day. And she scratched her nose. At school, the teacher asked about family. Everyone talked about grandparents. I didn't know what to say. My heart squeezed. What did you say? That my grandparents live far away. It wasn't technically a lie. But it hurt just the same. You know, Sophia, sometimes people who should take care of us don't do it right. Like at the hospital? When the body doesn't work right. Kind of like that, I said. Sometimes people's hearts don't work right either. She thought about it. Your heart works, Mom. I hugged her tight. Thank you, sweetie. So does yours. In February, the apartment was still empty, locked, waiting. I paid the condo fee and property tax because they were my legal responsibility, but I didn't give the keys to anyone. Renata tried to actually sue me this time. Patricia received the petition and left. Carol, she's asking for compensation for moral damages and improper use of property. It won't go anywhere. The judge will dismiss it. What if they don't? We show she was living as a favor, wasn't paying, and you gave notice. Relax. I couldn't relax. I was losing weight, sleeping poorly, taking too many shifts because at home I'd stare at my phone waiting for the next bomb. Sophia noticed. Mom, you're working too much. I have bills to pay, sweetie. But you're very tired. Aunt Vera said you need to take care of yourself too. Aunt Vera was right. But how to stop when everything seemed to be falling apart? In March, something I didn't expect happened. My father had a heart attack. My Aunt Vera called me at 6 a.m. Carol, your father is in the hospital. Santa Casa. Heart attack. He's stable, but you need to know. I stood in the middle of the kitchen, coffee dripping in the machine, Sophia still sleeping. Part of me wanted to run to the hospital. Part of me wanted to pretend I hadn't heard. Is he asking for me? I asked. No, Vera admitted. Your mother asked me to tell you. But Carol, he's your father. I know, I said. I'll finish getting Sophia ready for school and then I'll go. I arrived at Santa Casa at 9 a.m. My father was in the coronary unit, intubated, sedated. My mother was beside the bed, eyes swollen. Renata was there too, sitting in a chair on her phone. When I entered, Renata looked up, looked at me like I was a ghost. You came. He's my father, I said simply. My mother didn't look at me. He had the heart attack last night. At home. The ambulance took a while. They had to resuscitate him. I took a deep breath, the doctor and me taking over. Did I talk to the cardiologist? Not yet. I'll find him. I walked past both of them and went out to the hallway. Found the responsible doctor, Dr. Enrique, who I knew from conferences. We talked technically. Acute myocardial infarction. 2 blocked arteries. Catheterization tomorrow if he stabilizes. Prognosis? Guarded. He's 68 years old, hypertensive, poorly controlled diabetic. Enrique looked at me carefully. Are you okay? I know he's your father. I'll be fine, I said automatically. I went back to the room. My mother finally looked at me. Can you do something? You know the doctor's here. He's in good hands, Mom. Dr. Enrique is excellent. But you can. She gestured vaguely. Ask them to take better care. You're a doctor. It doesn't work like that. And I'm a pediatrician, not a cardiologist. Heavy silence. Renata went back to her phone. I stood there, standing, looking at my unconscious father. The man who taught me to ride a bike. Who took me to my first swimming lesson. Who also told me I owed them this. That family was obligation. I need to go, I said after 10 minutes. I have a shift this afternoon. Any changes, let me know. Carol, my mother called when I reached the door. Thank you for coming. I just waved and left. In the car I cried. Cried for the father I wanted him to be. For the father he never completely was. For the whole mess our family had become. My father survived the catheterization. They placed 2 stents. A week later, he was discharged with a list of expensive medications and strict orders. Diet, exercise, 0 stress. My mother called me on discharge day. Carol, we need help. It's 6 different medications. Almost 2,000 Brazilian reals a month. Insurance doesn't cover everything. I felt that familiar tightness in my chest. The guilt. The duty. The voice saying I was a daughter. That family helps. That he'd almost died. But then another voice, newer, firmer. And Sophia? Where were they when she needed family? Mom, I said slowly. You have retirement. You have a paid-off house. You were planning to spend almost 100,000 Brazilian reals on a renovation. That was different, she protested. That was for the whole family. It was for Renata, I corrected. And now, where is she? Where's the favorite daughter? Carol, don't be cruel. I'm not being cruel. I'm being honest. I'll send a list of discount pharmacies where the medications cost 1/3 of the price. And you need to look into the free medication programs from SUS. But I'm not going to pay. Your father almost died. And I almost died too, I shouted. Every day a little bit. Paying. Helping. Being drained. While you treated my daughter as less. So no, Mom. Not this time. I hung up. My hands shook so much I had to pull over. 2 weeks later, Renata finally moved out of the apartment. Not because she wanted to. Because Bruno got a job in Curitiba and they needed to move quickly. She showed up at my house unannounced on a Saturday morning. Sophia and I were making pancakes. When I opened the door, she was there, 2 thin, sunken eyes. I need the keys, she said without preamble. We're moving next week. The kids' things are inside. I looked at her for a long moment. The younger sister I'd protected all my life, who I'd carried on my back, financially and emotionally, for years. Everything's in boxes in storage, I said. Mr. Mario separated it when he changed the lock. You can pick it up at 2 p.m. today. I'll be there. Carol, she started, then stopped. Her eyes filled. We're broke. Literally no money. The apartment in Curitiba needs a security deposit. I know you're angry, but can you lend 5,000 Brazilian reals? Just until we get stable. I laughed. It was a strange sound without humor. Renata, in the last 4 years, I've lent or given you more than 200,000 Brazilian reals. You think I didn't do the math? Exaggeration. I took out my phone and opened a spreadsheet. I'd started making it after Christmas because I needed to prove to myself I wasn't making it up. I showed her the screen. Apartment, down payment of 60,000 Brazilian reals plus installments, I covered totaling 87,000 Brazilian reals. Car loan in 2021, 15,000 Brazilian reals. Help with bills, average of 1,500 Brazilian reals per month for 3 years, 54,000 Brazilian reals. Gifts, emergencies, and others, 31,000 Brazilian reals. Total, 247,000 Brazilian reals. She went pale. I didn't know it was that much. Because you never wanted to know. You just held out your hand and I filled it. Tears ran down. Carol, I'm sorry. For us excluding you. For hurting Sophia. I was so focused on surviving that I didn't see what we were doing. You know what's funny? I said. You were so focused on surviving with my money that you forgot I was also just surviving. Double shifts. Overtime. Saturday office hours. All to keep you comfortable while my daughter grew up without me half the time. And for what? For her to be left out of photos? Renata sobbed. I ruined everything. Yeah, you did. But you know what hurts me most? It's not the money. It's that you never, not once, treated my daughter like you treated yours. And when I finally said no, when I set boundaries, I became the villain. I didn't know what to do, she whimpered. Mom always said you had more. That you could help more. I believed it was fair. And you never stopped to think it wasn't. Silence. Sophia appeared behind me, quiet. Aunt Renata, she said in that tiny voice. Are you leaving? Renata looked at her. I am Sophia. Very far away. Okay, Sophia said. I hope you're happy there. It was said with such innocent sincerity that Renata broke down. She crouched down, getting to Sophia's height. I'm sorry for not being a better aunt to you. You didn't deserve to be left out. Sophia just nodded. That's okay. Can I go back to the pancakes now, Mom? You can, sweetie. She ran back to the kitchen. Renata stood up, wiping her face. 2 p.m. then? 2 p.m. She turned to leave, but stopped. Carol? Are you going to rent the apartment? I'm going to sell it, I said. And the money is going to Sophia's college fund. Something I should have done from the beginning. She nodded and left. That afternoon, she picked up the boxes. We didn't exchange more than 10 words. The following week, they moved to Curitiba. They didn't tell me when. Didn't say goodbye. That was fine. I put the apartment up for sale in April. The market was hot. Sold in 3 weeks for 420,000 Brazilian reals. After paying off the financing and fees, 187,000 Brazilian reals remained clear. I put it all in Sophia's account. It covered almost everything I'd given to my family in recent years. My mother found out when one of the neighbors commented about the new owners. She sent me a message. You sold without even telling us? That apartment was family patrimony. It was MY patrimony, I replied. That I bought with MY money while you judged how I spent it. Now it's an investment for my daughter's future, who is also family, just not yours. She didn't respond. In May, something unexpected happened. Aunt Vera called me, voice strange. Carol, you need to know something. Your mother is spreading that you abandoned your sick father. That you took your sister's house. That you're a heartless doctor. Let her talk, I said, tired. People who know me know the truth. It's not just that. She's bad-mouthing you in the medical network. Saying you're unstable. Trying to damage your professional reputation. That hit different. Messing with me was one thing. Messing with my work, with my career that I'd built with so much sacrifice, was another. Do you have proof? I asked. I have screenshots. She's in a neighborhood moms group. Several work in healthcare. I'll send them to you. When I saw the messages, I felt my blood freeze. My mother had written entire paragraphs. That I'd evicted my pregnant sister from her house. Lie, Renata wasn't pregnant and the apartment was mine. That I'd refused to pay for my father's cardiac treatment. Lie, I just didn't pay for medications that SUS offered. That I was mentally unstable and shouldn't work with children. That went too far. I called Patricia. Defamation? She asked. Defamation, I confirmed. With intent to harm professionally. I want to sue. I'll prepare everything. Do you have witnesses? I have the screenshots. I have Aunt Vera. And I have 4 years of bank records showing every cent I gave them. Perfect. We'll ask for public retraction and compensation for moral damages. The notification arrived at my parents' house a week later. My mother called me hysterical. You're suing me? Your own mother? You tried to destroy my professional reputation, I said calmly. Lied about me in professional groups. That has legal consequences. I just told the truth. You told lies. And I have proof. You have 2 options. Public retraction in all the groups where you talked about me, or we go to court and let the judge decide the compensation amount. Carol, for God's sake. You choose. 48 hours. I hung up. She chose retraction. Patricia drafted the text, formal and direct. I hereby retract unfounded comments I made about my daughter, Dr. Carolina. The information I shared about her professional and personal conduct did not correspond to the truth and was the result of private family matters. I publicly apologize and acknowledge that I acted inappropriately. My mother posted it in all the groups. It must have hurt. I hope it hurt. June arrived with heat and Sophia finishing 3rd grade. She'd made new friends at school. Was looser, happier. Didn't ask about grandparents anymore. One day, coming back from swim class, she said, Mom, Julia invited us to her birthday. The whole family will be there. Is it okay to go? Julia was her best friend. Daughter of my friend Patricia, the lawyer. Of course it is, sweetie. Why wouldn't it be? Just wanted to make sure that I can have family, even if it's not the grandparents. My heart squeezed. You have family, Sophia. You have me. You have Aunt Vera and the cousins. You have Aunt Patricia and Julia. You have Claudia from the hospital who always asks about you. Family isn't just blood. It's who truly loves you. She thought about it. I like our family, she said finally. Me too, sweetie. Me too. Julia's birthday was the following weekend. Barbecue at the apartment, pool, kids running around. Sophia was received with tight hugs. People asked how she was, remembered her name, included her in everything. I watched from afar with a glass of soda in my hand. Patricia came to stand beside me. She's good, she said. She is, I agreed. Finally. And you? I looked at her. I am too. For the first time in years, I think I am. Good. You deserve it. And look, that notification your father got from the bank about the financing? Patricia smiled sideways. They investigated and discovered he was using your name as a reference to get higher credit limits. It's all blocked now. I didn't know about that. Well, your name was linked to 3 credit cards you didn't even know existed. I cleaned it all up. You're free. Free. The word echoed. In July, my father had another complication. Cardiac arrhythmia. Back to the hospital for 5 days. My Aunt Vera told me, but this time I didn't visit. I sent flowers with a card. Get well. Carol. My mother called me from the hospital. How can you be so cold? He's your father. And Sophia is my daughter, I said. Choices have consequences, Mom. You taught me that. She hung up on me. August brought something I didn't expect. A letter. Handwritten. From my father. I recognized the shaky handwriting on the envelope. Almost threw it away. But curiosity won. I opened it. Carolina. The doctors said I need to reduce stress. Stop holding grudges. So I'm writing this once. You're right. About a lot of things. We treated Sophia differently. It wasn't conscious at first. but it was real. And when you pointed it out instead of fixing it, we attacked you. That was wrong. We used your money like it was ours. We saw you as a solution, not as a daughter. And when you stopped being convenient, we cut you off. I don't know if you'll forgive me. I don't know if you should. But I need you to know, I'm sorry. Renata called me from Curitiba. She's struggling, but she's happier away from here. Bruno has a good job. The kids have adapted. Your mother still doesn't accept all this. She thinks you were radical. But I know you were just honest. If one day you want to talk, really talk, without demands or expectations, I'd like that. If you don't want to, I understand. Take care of Sophia. And take care of yourself. Dad. I read it 3 times. Looked for traps, manipulation, empty excuses. But it seemed genuine. I showed Sophia that night. She was 9 now, grown, perceptive. Read in silence. Grandpa apologized, she said. He did. Are you going to forgive him? I thought carefully. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting, sweetie. And it doesn't mean letting them go back to doing the same things. It just means not carrying the anger all the time. Are you still angry? Sometimes. But less. Mostly I'm tired. She nodded, wise beyond her years. Can we just be us two for now? We can. September came with spring and changes. I received an offer to be coordinator of the pediatric ICU. More money, fewer night shifts. I accepted. With the raise, I managed to rent a bigger apartment. 2 real bedrooms, a living room where Sophia could play, a balcony with a view of the park. We moved on a sunny Saturday. Aunt Vera and the cousins helped. Patricia and Julia brought pizza. We filled the apartment with boxes and laughter. That night, after everyone left, Sophia and I sat on the empty balcony, just with a blanket and hot chocolate. Mom, she said, "Are we okay?" "We are," I said. "Finally we are." She rested her head on my shoulder. "I like our life." "Me too, sweetie." In October, I did something symbolic. I took all the receipts, screenshots, bank statements I'd kept for years, all the proof of financial help, unpaid loans, broken promises, printed everything, put it in a cardboard box, and burned it in the new building's grill. Sophia watched me, curious. "Why are you burning it, Mom?" "Because I don't need to prove anything anymore," I said. To them or to myself. The flames swallowed paper after paper. Years of financial and emotional draining turning to ash. I felt something release in my chest. Freedom. In November, my father sent me another letter. Shorter. Just saying he'd started therapy. That he was trying to understand why he'd been like that. That he respected my space. I didn't respond. But I kept the letter. December arrived quickly. A year since the Christmas that changed everything. Aunt Vera called me. "Are we doing Christmas at my house again?" The kids already asked if Sophia is coming. "We are," I said. "And can I bring dessert?" "Only if it's that lemon pie you make." On Christmas Eve, I woke up early. Sophia helped me make the pie, smearing the kitchen with meringue. We packed it in thermal boxes and went to Vera's house. The table was full. Vera, her kids, now cool teenagers. Patricia and her family. Claudia from the hospital with her nieces and nephews. My cousin Daniel, who'd supported me when everything exploded. And in the center of the table, a place of honor for Sophia, with a little card that said, "Sophia, our favorite." She read it and glowed. Looked at me with that huge smile. "Can I keep this?" "You can, sweetie. You can keep it forever." We ate until we couldn't eat anymore. Exchanged simple but meaningful gifts. Sophia got a complete toy doctor's kit with a personalized lab coat that had Dr. Sophia embroidered. She put it on immediately and never took it off. That night, as we were leaving, Vera pulled me aside. "Your father called me," she said. "Asked if you'd be here." I told him it was none of his business, she continued. "But he asked me to give you a message. He said, tell her I understand. And that there will always be a place for them when they're ready." I looked at Sophia in the car, playing with the new stethoscope. Tell him maybe one day. But not yet. And never the way it was before. Vera nodded. Fair. I drove home with Sophia humming Christmas songs in the back seat. When we arrived, She ran to her own room, in an apartment that was just ours, and hung our favorite card on the wall, next to last year's Christmas ornament where she'd written "Me and Mom's house." Family. I stood in the doorway watching. She turned around. "Mom, it was the best Christmas." It was, I agreed. "And it'll be even better next year." Because I finally understood. Family isn't who pressures you, drains you, uses you. Family isn't blind obligation or eternal debt. Family is who sees you, who values you, who stays when it gets hard, not just when it's convenient. My real family was here. In the girl with the embroidered lab coat. In the aunt who brought lasagna. In the friend who defended me legally. In the nurses who held my hand on bad days. And for the first time in years, that was enough. More than enough. It was everything. January arrived with heat and new beginnings. Sophia went back to school. I dove into the new position. Life went on lighter. My mother tried to make contact a few times. Short, cautious messages. I never responded. Not with anger. Just with indifference. Maybe one day I'd respond. Maybe one day there'd be room to rebuild something new, with clear boundaries and real respect. But for now, I was fine with the silence. Because I'd learned the most important lesson. You can't make people love you the way you deserve. Can't buy affection with money or sacrifice. But you can choose to spend your energy on those who already truly love you. And I had chosen. We had chosen. Sophia and me. Our small, perfect, sufficient family of two. If this story touched you in any way, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories of overcoming injustice. Your comments and support make all the difference to other people who might be going through similar situations. Until the next story.